Chapter 4. The sun streamed through the blinds of Annika's apartment, saying hello and good morning. Annika slowly awoke to a pain in her neck that felt like a chiropractic visit gone wrong. She groaned. Again, she had fallen asleep at her desk, reviewing the case, trying to organize the chaos. She rotated her muscles, stretching them out. Rubbing her neck, her eyes fell on the family photo she kept on her desk. Though she had been working on this case for 3 years and had made little progress, her parents still smiled at her with encouragement. "Rise and shine, Annika," they seemed to say. "Today's another beautiful gift from God. Use it to the fullest." Her doorbell rang. Annika turned to look at the door. Who could that be? What time was it anyway? Rising, she ran to the sink and splashed cool water on her face, trying to wake up. Jogging over to the front of her small apartment, she checked the peephole, then unlocked and opened the door. "Hey, Crystal, what's up?" "Hey, just bringing over the colors so we can start painting at Cup of Kindness. Jake said you couldn't decide between these 4, so I thought I'd save you a trip." "And give yourself an opportunity to see Steve?" She smirked. "Guilty." "Come on in." Crystal laid out the choices on the kitchen table and then sat next to Steve on the couch. "Hi, Steve. How are you today?" She scratched his chin. He lovingly dug his claws into her leg. "Ouch! Why are you stabbing me?" "Sorry, he does that now. Don't ask me why." As Annika examined the colors, she couldn't help but notice Crystal admiring the flowers Cameron had bought her. Annika had dried them to retain their beauty. "Ooh, pretty flowers," Crystal commented. "Secret admirer?" She gasped and stood. "Are these from that guy you've been talking to at the coffee house?" "Yes, but relax, Chris. He's only a friend." "Who gave you flowers?" she pointed out. "Who is he?" Annika laughed. "He's just a former client. I've never heard of a client giving you flowers, even if you did solve their case." "Well, I haven't been taking cases for a while. I haven't had any clients to receive flowers from." She directed her attention back to the paint selections. "You're blushing! I've never seen you do that. Come on, at least tell me what he does for a living." Annika rolled her eyes, hating it when Crystal tried to set her up with every guy who walked in. "He's a pediatrician, Dr. Cameron Baines. He's the son of a friend of my dad's." "Ooh, a doctor. That means he's rich. And he's cute." Crystal nodded, musing to herself. Cameron and Annika Baines. That has a nice ring to it. "That's it. Go, 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 go." Annika led her out the door. "Okay, I'm going. But 2 questions before I leave." Annika waited, hand on hip. "Which colors?" "These 2 right here." Annika handed her back the shades and pointed to 2 of them. "This green for the walls and this white for the trim. Go ahead and buy the colors. We'll paint on Sunday." "Good," Crystal said. "And do you have plans tomorrow evening? I thought maybe you, me, and Jake could go bowling after work." "Who am I kidding? You never have plans. All you do is work. I'll see you then." "Actually, I do have plans." "Oh?" Her eyebrows rose. Annika felt her face flush again. "Yeah, I'm having dinner with Cameron and his dad." "Aw, you go, girl. I'm so happy for you." Crystal gave her a hug. "You're going to let me help with decorations, right?" "For what?" "The wedding." Annika shut the door, but she couldn't resist smiling as she did. Parking her car next to Cameron's, Annika checked her reflection in the sun visor mirror. She smiled wide, making sure there was no leftover granola stuck in her teeth, though she'd brushed and flossed before she left. All clear. She tucked a stubborn strand of hair behind her ear. On impulse, she had curled it, and with the cool weather, it was holding its wave nicely. Satisfied, she grabbed her purse and shut the door, walking up toward the house. Maybe it was the talk with Crystal she'd had yesterday, but Annika felt nervous. She wanted to relax and have a good time, but it had been years since she'd gone to someone's home for dinner, especially someone like Dr. Baines, a friend of her father's she didn't know very well. She couldn't even remember the last time she'd seen him. A party for her dad, maybe? Before a memory could resurface, Cameron opened the door. "Hey, Annika! Come on in. Dad's just finishing up dinner." She stepped inside, the warmth in his voice inviting. "You look nice." Annika glanced down at her purple top, blue jeans, and fluffy brown jacket, embracing her. "Oh, thank you." Dr. Baines entered the living room. "Annika, so nice to see you." He gave her a quick hug. "Come sit down. The food's almost ready." To Annika's surprise, only 20 minutes into the meal, she felt completely relaxed. What was I so worried about? So, Dr. Baines said, taking a swig of his water, what does Cameron do all day at Cup of Kindness, besides drink all your coffee? Cameron grabbed another piece of garlic bread. I do more than that, Dad. I use up all her sugar packets, too. And creamer. Annika laughed. Well, consider it my payment for all your help on the case, Cam. Oh, Cameron mentioned that. Dr. Baines wiped his mouth with a napkin. How is that coming along, Annika? Pretty good, she answered. I feel like I have a fresh perspective on things and good support, thanks to my new partner. Cameron grinned his thanks. Yes, Dr. Baines said. Cameron certainly has a way of making things better, more positive. His voice gradually lowered to a somber tone. When Cameron's mother, my wife, Carla, passed away 2 years ago, it was difficult. But in time, Cameron and I began to heal. Cameron has helped me more than I can say. He was a great comfort to me, and I'm glad he is to you too. She tried to smile, too moved to say anything. Cameron squeezed his dad's shoulder, thanking him for the compliment. Carla loved us and wanted us to move on and be happy, Dr. Baines continued, not waste our lives by focusing on the pain of the past. I'm sure your parents would tell you the same thing, Annika. An uncomfortable silence suffocated the room. All Annika heard was the clock ticking and her heart pounding. This is what I was worried about. With all due respect, it's not a waste, Annika responded. I'm searching for justice, like anyone in my position would. Dr. Baines said quietly, simply, it's just been so long. Besides, bringing justice to the person responsible won't bring them back. I feel you're only reopening that wound. And you're putting salt in it, she thought. Cameron's utensils clanged against his plate in exasperation. Dad, he began. It's okay, Cameron, Annika heard herself say, but she felt like crying. Reining in her emotions, she sat up straighter and looked Dr. Baines in the eye. I feel my parents would want me to seek the truth, justice. I'm doing this for them as well as myself. I want to avenge them. I want closure. I don't think it will bring me complete happiness, but I'm hoping that I'll find peace in knowing the monster that killed them will never be able to hurt anyone again. He didn't just take away their lives that night, he took mine too. Silence prevailed. She felt Cameron's compassionate gaze on her. The lump in her throat wouldn't go down. The walls were closing in. Annika threw her napkin on her unfinished plate. I'm sorry. She rose swiftly and yanked her coat from the back of her chair. No, I'm sorry, Dr. Baines began. I shouldn't have brought it up. She shook her head. No, it's... She swallowed. Thank you for dinner. Slinging her purse over her shoulder, Annika practically fled from the room. Annika, Dr. Baines pleaded. Swinging the door closed, she jogged down the steps, a blast of bitter wind striking her. She didn't bother to put on her coat, though. She didn't want to be stopped. Besides, it was the inner cold that was killing her. Her chest ached, her throat slick with saliva, her mind whirled. Throwing her purse onto the passenger seat, Annika gripped the car door to steady herself, calm down. Could that have gone any worse? She heard Cameron's voice behind her. Annika, wait, please. She glanced his way, still trying to catch her breath. Annika, I am so sorry. It's okay, you don't have to apologize. No, I do. He sighed, shoving his hands in his pockets. I'm sorry about what he said. I don't think he's ever fully recovered from losing Mom. I know that all too well. Feeling the chill now, she slipped on her jacket and quietly asked, what happened to her? Cameron began to rock back and forth, either from nerves or create some sort of body heat. She contracted leukemia about 4 or 5 years ago. It was the hardest on Dad. He almost went broke, trying every treatment there was, but... Annika touched his arm, seeing his mouth twist for broken words that wouldn't come. Cameron cleared his throat. Since the last year of Mom's life, when nothing was working for her, Dad's become a different person. It changed him. Being a doctor, I know he feels especially guilty he couldn't find a cure for her. I'm so sorry, Cameron. It's okay, he said, his ocean-colored eyes misting. She's safe, waiting. Waiting, she thought? For heaven? But none of that is an excuse for what he said to you, Cameron finished. It's not a big deal, she answered, rubbing her throat, trying to keep the buildup of saliva down. I shouldn't be so emotional about it after this long. Sometimes I get the feeling I'll never finish. I've had so many false alarms before. What if I never find the truth and fail them? Besides, he's right. It doesn't matter what I do. I'll never see them again. Her voice had cracked by now, but she refused to let the tears spill. Well, like you said, you're doing it for them, to make them proud and find closure. These kinds of things take time, but that doesn't mean we won't ever succeed. With your brains and my brawn, nobody can stop us. Somehow, he had managed to make her smile. Thanks, Cam. You still coming to church with me this weekend? Another wave of nausea swept over her. Fight it, Annika, fight it. Yeah, I'll be ready by 12. Suddenly, she shut her eyes and put a hand to her mouth. What is it? Cameron asked, drawing nearer. I don't know. I feel like... Before she could finish, she went to her knees, throwing up the dinner she had just eaten. Oh, Annika. He placed a steady hand on her back, patting her as she threw up a second time. It's okay. It's okay, he comforted. Gasping for air, she groaned. Are you all right? You want some water? She wiped her mouth. No, I think I'm okay. Probably just stress. Annika took his offered hand and slowly got to her feet. I'm sorry, she said. That's so gross. This is so embarrassing. If anyone should be embarrassed, it's me for what I put you through tonight. It's my fault you got sick. Are you sure you're okay? He asked. You need me to drive you home? No, I'll be all right. Thank you. She slipped into her car. I'll let you know when I get there. Okay, he said uncertainly. Drive safe. Cameron waved as she put the car in gear. Once she was out of sight, he headed back inside, making a mental note to get her checked out soon. Stress was most likely the cause of her sudden stomach bug, but that could lead to something worse, like an ulcer. He knew it couldn't have been anything in the food. He and his dad felt fine, physically. Emotionally, he could already feel the tension as he opened the door. His father was washing the dishes, looking at a plate with laser focus, clearly not wanting to make eye contact. That was uncalled for, Cameron said. I don't want to talk about it, Cameron, he responded gruffly. How could you say that to her? His voice took on a strength, a passion he'd never felt before. Look at her situation, Dad, what she's going through. Could you have been any more unfeeling? Sometimes people need to hear the truth, son, no matter how hard it is to take. Yeah, from someone who cares about them. You hardly know her. You didn't even go to her parents' funeral. Donald's eyes widened, and he shut off the water. Do not even go there. Your mother was dying. She needed me, and I was now about to leave her to go to a business partner's funeral. Cameron tried to relax, tried to calm the situation. All I'm saying is that you went too far tonight. Dad, Annika means a lot to me, and when you hurt her, you hurt me. Donald only turned the water back on, scrubbing the dishes with more force than necessary. Sighing, Cameron left the room, retreating to his own. Good night. That's the end of chapter 4. I'll see you guys tomorrow for chapter 5. Thanks for watching.